Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Softball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, TruMoo, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the 2016 Iowa Girls High School Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Soccer Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live.
By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Corn has grown a foot this week in Webster County. First it was rain, now it's the heat. We've got a hot one of softball today as we play 5 championship caliber games as we award 5 trophies here at Harlan Rogers Park in Fort Dodge as we have number 1 versus number 2 in Class 3A, Benton Community and Davenport Assumption. Hello, everybody. Paul Yeager alongside Laura Leonard as we are just off the infield, and this is a field that's going to be extremely busy today. We've got 5 great games, and we start with one in 3A, Laura, that is number 1 versus number 2, the best all year, and the one that's the surprise at Davenport Assumption.
Well, Davenport Assumption comes into this ball game on a wave of emotion. They won a big ball game to get to this point, and Benton has had the pitching all season long. They've been the team to beat all season long. Assumption gets here on a semifinal walk-off 3-run homer. They have set a school record for 41 wins. We talk about the walk-off home run. That was Ashley Ackerman. And Emma Valinas, the catcher, had the one that really got them going against Solon yesterday. Yeah, big 2-run home run. They were down 2-0. She launched one to center field to tie it back up, give them the momentum to get back into that ball game to set it up for Ackerman in the 3-run homer. The Knights are one of 2 MAC schools playing for state titles today. The other one is Pleasant Valley in 5A, so it's a loaded conference this year. But they're facing the team that has been number 1 all season in Benton Community. Yeah, Benton Community has been tough all season long. They've held that perch. Everybody wants to try to knock them off. They've got great pitching. They've got the Gatorade Player of the Year in Alyssa Weeble, but they also have Amber Pfizer, who is just tremendous in the circle. She throws a no-hitter in the quarterfinal game, and she had a perfect game yesterday in the semifinals for 5 2/3. Only gave up 1 hit. She's only given up 2 hits all postseason. She has just been outstanding. And in the tournament, 27 strikeouts, so she's been unhittable. So she's going to be the key in this ball game. And here at the Iowa Farm Bureau Girls Softball Championships, the fans have been making their way in, and you can see the bright green shirts of Benton Community, and Assumption is in red and black in their school colors, and they are ready to see some incredible softball here, and maybe there'll be a winner of the Jack North Award from this team. Already today, they've awarded the Jack North Award, which is given to a senior that receives the most all-tournament team votes. This year's winner is Taylor Nearad. She played at Solon last year on the 2015 softball state title for Class 3A. In 3 games, she batted .778 with 7 hits, 3 doubles, and 3 home runs. She also drove in 9 runs and was captain of the Class 3A all-tournament team. Laura, this is a big honor. It's a huge honor in the state of Iowa in all classes and all sports, and it's just something I think you strive for when you're an athlete in the state of Iowa. It's one of the highest honors that the state bestows upon their good athletes. The Jack North Softball Award winner is Taylor Nearad of Solon. Let's go to the public address announcer. Let's get going. Here's Randy Krejci.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex. In this Class 3A championship game between the Knights of Davenport Assumption and the Bobcats of Benton Community. First, let's meet the non-starters for the visitors from Davenport Assumption. Number 3, Erin Ackerman. Number 10, Hannah Johnson. Number 15, Natalie Moore. Number 21, Lauren DiUlio. Number 22, Leah Nelson. Number 28, Allie Courtney. Number 29, Hannah Whistler. Number 37, Olivia Allen. And number 41, Allie Timmons. The assistant coaches for the Knights, Mike Ackerman, Caitlin Eliopoulos, Casey Crumreich, and Lexi Quant. And now your starters for the Knights of Assumption. Leading off and playing second base, number 27, Hannah Kelly. Batting second in center field, number 1, Sophie Van Severen. Batting third at first base, number 2, Ashley Ackerman. The cleanup hitter is the catcher, number 13, Emma Balanis. Batting fifth, the designated player, number 34, Carly Salmon. Batting sixth at shortstop, number 35, Nicole Yoder. Batting seventh is the third baseman, number 19, Caitlin Andreessen. Batting eighth in left field, number 14, Shannon Guy. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 7, Jana Miller. The pitcher is in the flex position, number 24, Nicole Timmons. And the head coach of the Assumption Knights, Mr. Ron Farrell. And now for the non-starters for the home team from Benton Community. Number 3, Jesse Havlick. Number 5, Braden Moore. Number 9, Mallory Tice. Number 10, Samantha Robbie. Number 14, Megan Groko. And number 20, Macy Schmidt. The assistant coaches for the Bobcats, Marty Tomei, Allison Galbraith, Stacy Schneider, and John DeGroot. The starters now for the Bobcats of Benton Community. Leading off, playing shortstop, number 12, Alyssa Weevil. Batting second in right field, number 6, Angie Groko. Batting third, doing the pitching, number 13, Amber Pfizer. The cleanup hitter is the catcher, number 11, J.C. Lyons. Batting fifth in center field, number 2, Shelby Holsabus. Batting sixth at first base, number 8, Anna Stenberg. Batting seventh is the designated player, number 17, Jessica Heilman. Batting eighth at third base, number 7, Grace Martinson. Batting ninth is the second baseman, number 1, Leah Brunson. The flex player is in left field, number 4, McKenna Bonowitz. And the head coach of your Bobcats, Mr. Eric Stenberg. Now let's turn our attention to the home plate area for the introduction of the umpires as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base is Mr. Shannon McWhirter. At third base, Mr. Terry Giaffretti. And calling the balls and strikes is the exemplary crew chief, Mr. Tony Nelson. We have already played the national anthem on the adjacent field, so it is time for state championship softball, Class 3A style.
Thank you, Randy Krejci. It is time to play Class 3A. We have 5 of these. It's 85 degrees. The wind is out of the southeast. It is still blowing, but this is what the defense is going to have to deal with for Benton Community. It starts with Amber Pfizer on the mound. J.C. Lyons calls the pitches, and she is the catcher. At first is coach's daughter, Anna Stenberg. At second, Leah Brunson. Alyssa Weibel, the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year at short. Grace Martinson at third. In left, it's Bonowitz, Holsabus, and Gorko from left to right. That is your Benton Community defense, who are 40-2 on the season, playing in the WAMAT Conference. as they go out there in their white uniforms and blue pants. As we take a look at the pitcher, Amber Pfizer, Laura Leonard, she has just been outstanding this season. She's 27-2. She's thrown 13 no-hitters, including the quarterfinal. Her ERA is an incredible .30. Opponents are only batting 63 against her.
And that ERA is best in the entire state, not just 3A.
She is incredible, and she is headed to Minnesota next year, and she has on her wrist one pitch at a time, and that's what she's trying to do when it gets to a tough situation. And she'll face off against the Davenport Assumption Knights, and here's their batting lineup. Hannah Kelly, Sophie Van Severen, Ashley Ackerman, Emma Valinas, who was the hero, Ackerman and Valinas in yesterday's ballgame, those two. Carly Salmon, Nicole Yoder, Caitlin Anderson, or Andreessen, sorry, and Shannon Guy getting her first start of the tournament. And then Jana Miller is in right field. And the pitcher is Nicole Timmons, who we'll get to later. But first we start with this battle between Amber Pfizer and Hannah Kelly. First pitch is out of the zone for a ball, and we're underway here. 85 degrees. We're supposed to be in a heat index well into the 100s today. But what the Union likes best, no rain in the forecast.
Had a lot of it on Tuesday and washed things out, but they were able to make up the schedule, get things back on track. And I'm going to tell you what, this grounds crew out here has done a tremendous job getting everything in shape.
Jim Winter's been busy this week. The next one misses. The 2-0 is on the way. And that's high. So Kelly, the sophomore, playing second base, batting .435. She's got an incredible slugging percentage of .718. She's up in the count 3-0.
Second on the team in walks, so a good leadoff table setter at the top of the lineup.
Looks at a 3-0 fastball, up and in, but enough to catch the zone from home plate umpire Tony Nelson. .31 also catches the zone, and now it's even. So, got some of those early jitters out of the way.
I think you get into a state tournament title game, you have a little adrenaline going and maybe overthrowing a few pitches, and you just have to know that Pfizer's going to settle in. She always has and always does.
Oh, and it's a called third strike on Hannah Kelly. Caught the backdoor corner. And Kelly is telling Sophie Van Severen what to look for as Van Severen steps in to the circle. What's Benton going to have to do to win tonight, Laura?
Well, they need to have better plate discipline, and so what they need to do is really be at the plate and know what pitch they're going to see, what they want to hit, and then they need to ride the pitching wave. They need to ride the arm of Pfizer and really take it to the title game.
So Sophie Van Severen comes in from the left side of the plate. .465 is her average. She has 10 runs batted in. Looks at one that catches the corner, and now she's down, no balls and 2 strikes. We're underway here at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Paul Yeager, Laura Leonard, and the entire Iowa Public Television crew. Glad to have you here on this Friday morning.
You know, one of the things that I really liked was, and you talked about it, Hannah Kelly came out of that box after the strikeout, the called third strike. She stopped and talked to Sophie Van Severen and said, here's what you're going to see. And that's great teamwork, just letting a teammate know what kind of pitches they're going to throw, what the spin looks like on the ball, and what you can expect. And I really like that communication between teammates.
And that is something you know they talk about in the dugout, but that was right in front of us. And you know they're now going down the line trying to say, look at this. I mean, you see 5 pitches, and then the 6th one was a called third strike. That's what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do in addition to getting on base. As that one is fouled out of play behind third base. Assumption in the third base dugout tonight. And those fans, you can see there's plenty of seating. It was kind of a more intimate crowd yesterday. The heat kind of scared some people off, but a state title game does not. Lots of fans have made their way from Eastern Iowa for this one. The 1-2 misses, and we're even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Benton Community, as we mentioned, plays out of the WAMAC. Van Horn is where the school is located. chopped left, and that's going to be underneath the glove of Grace Martinson at third base, and Assumption has their first runner aboard.
Just pounding the ball into the ground, just slaps it down there, and then Martinson in between hops. That was a tough pick, and she tried to get it cleanly, just came under a glove, maybe came up a little too soon, but that's a tough one because you're in between hops and you have to short hop it and get those hands down and stay down.
Defense is something that both coaches talked about being extremely important, and we already have the game's first error, as that's going to be ruled an error on Grace Martinson. So there's one aboard, and that brings Ashley Ackerman to the plate. She was the hero yesterday. The 3-run walk-off home run on the bottom of the 7th to win it over against defending champion Solon. Ackerman's underneath it, and they got it tied up. Van Severen back and forth, and she's going to be in there at second base. The throw from first from Stenberg went to Weeble. And somehow Severin gets under the base. Lyons threw in behind her at first. There you see Stenberg caught it. And the ball got away from Weeble. Great look by the camera crew here.
Well, and smart base running, too, because when they throw in behind you, you just have to make a mad dash for the next base ahead, and then try to get yourself into the rundown, and that's exactly what happened there. Make them make the play and make them make the throw. It didn't happen, and so now they have a base runner in scoring position.
Ackerman at the plate, the senior. Smashes it foul, out of play. And she's down in the count. No, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out here. We're in the top of the first. Number 1, Benton Community. Number 2, Assumption. Change up is...
Dead ball. Runner's out. Dead ball strike. Get on hand. Second base.
So you heard Tony Nelson make the call.
Hand that you swung, so it's a dead ball strike, strike 3.
Can't say it any better than Tony just did.
Got a dead ball strike, strike 3.
So Coach Ron Farrell trying to get an explanation for that.
You're right, but it swung and it hit her, so that's a dead ball strike. Did not hit the bat, hit the batter. So hit her arm as she swung, so that's automatic dead ball. It's a dead ball strike.
All right, I'm 90% sure you're 100% right. Can you involve?
No.
Can we just make sure that that we're neither one?
I've got this 100%, Coach. Absolutely, it's 100%.
I'm just trying to think out anything you could have missed here. I'm buying myself every bit of time I can buy here.
I hear you. Thank you.
Good exchange, but let's see what Tony Nelson saw.
Ball came up and in, and he saw it right away. Tony Nelson saw it right away and called it, and made the call very confident in what he saw. And it did sound funny when it hit, so I thought it was off maybe the end of the bat or the handle, but he saw it, and we're moving on.
So it is the second out, and I believe that's recorded as a strikeout then. So that's the second strikeout for Pfizer in the ball game. She set a state record for Class 3A, state tournament record on Monday night in that no-hitter. And she faces the always tough Emma Valinas at the plate. Valinas gave her team some life yesterday against Solon, hit a 2-run homer in the 6th to tie it at 2. Then Ackerman hit the home run in the 7th. And they're not pitching too close to the strike zone with Valinas.
They're staying way away. You can see Lyon hopping out, way out into the batter's box on the opposite side, and they don't want to have any of Valinas' bat.
Another one goes out of the zone. And we talked about it very briefly. J.C. Lyons behind the plate. She calls the pitches. It's not looking into the dugout. She's the one this year. She looks at swings, determines what to throw, and you see her set up again for this one. They're going to walk Valinas.
You know, Valinas not very happy, a little disappointed. She didn't get the opportunity to take a swing and maybe drive in a run, but early in this ball game, I think smart strategy for Benton to be able to do that and have the confidence in their defense and in their pitching.
So we're going to have a courtesy runner. Leah Nelson's going to come in and run for Valinas, the catcher. That's the nice ability of the courtesy runner that we have. So it'll be Leah Nelson will be at second. So you did have first base open. So you put the force back in play so you can get, just all you got to do is tag that base at third, first, or second.
No, and you can see why they would stay away from Valinas. As she had a home run in the quarterfinals. She had a big home run yesterday in the semis. So she has pop in the bat, and when you have runners on, you don't want to get down early in this kind of a ball game.
There you look at Carly Salmon, 493 hitter on the season, 28 RBI. She's got a couple out there right now, but she's down in the count, 0-2. Swung on and missed. Now strike two. It was 1 ball and 1 strike. I was looking at the scoreboard.
That's a ball they're going to have to try to stay off of if they want to put it in play. That was a good rise ball.
That swung on and missed, and now Salmon is behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We have to be ready and protect now with 2 strikes. You know Pfizer's going to be right around the plate, so get something that if you don't like it, foul it off, spoil it, get back in and find something you like.
Called third strike on Salmon, and Pfizer strikes out the side for the Benton Bobcats. We played half an inning. The Knights leave 2 on base. They get it on an error. No hits, though, no runs. As we see the Benton Bobcats come into the dugout, feeling like they may have dodged a little something there. And they'll send to the plate a very good hitting team. They'll start. Let's take a look at the defense for the Knights. Nicole Timmons goes on the mound, and Coach Farrell said he'll take her any day of the week she is the hot hand, and he puts her in the circle. Emma Valinas behind the plate. Ashley Ackerman at first. Hannah Kelly at second. Nicole Yoder at short. And Caitlin Andreessen is at third base. Shannon Guy gets the start tonight in left. Sophie Van Severen in center, and Jana Miller in right. Guy, Van Severen, and Miller left to right in your outfield. And we talk about Nicole Timmons. Coach had 2 different options. He could have thrown Hannah Kelly, the sophomore, but he goes with the junior, Nicole Timmons. She's 20-3 on the season, over 131 innings of work. He has an ERA under 1 of .70, and opponents are batting .80. If it wasn't for Amber Pfizer, she would absolutely be the best pitcher in the tournament.
Well, she too is
stat-wise
striking out a lot of hitters in this tournament, 24 strikeouts in the first 2 games.
Here's what Benton will send up. Alyssa Wiebel, Angie Gorko, Amber Pfizer, J.C. Lyons, Hulsebus, Stenberg, Heilman, Martinson, and Brunson in the bottom side of that order, which has also been productive for the Bobcats. First pitch from Timmons is out of the zone. Wiebel, outstanding player. .542 batting average, 44 RBIs. Her slugging percentage, Laura, is over 1. And that's one of those swinging pitches, and that goes right in to the hand. Swung and hit her at the same time.
1 ball, 1 strike.
So since you swing at it,
and the
hand is part of the bat, so it's foul, so that's why it's ruled. And not a hit by pitch is issued there because she was swinging at it. But boy, don't think Coach Stenberg didn't skip 1 or 2 beats there when he saw his star player get hit in the hands, as the count's now even up, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Those are always scary too, because as hard as these young ladies throw, a lot of times if you just hit it right and that ball, a hand gripped around the bat, you just are lucky that something was not broken, because
right.
these pitchers do throw very hard.
Ball is lifted out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Gatorade Player of the Year in Iowa. Ripped again, foul, right over our third base camera.
You can see the kind of extension that Wiebel can get, and on the season, 17 home runs, 64 in her career, one of in the upper levels of national leaders for career home runs.
2-2 is high.
I believe tied with Kendall Lindemann.
Yeah, she's one short of Lindemann, I believe. And you look at it, and then when you call it the national statistics, they only count 4 years, not all 5, because not every state, and that's a walk to Weeble. Every state doesn't play 5 years like Iowa does, or you have the opportunity to play 5 years. Weeble's going to Illinois State, and she's going to first base first, though. What's it going to take for Davenport Assumption to win this morning?
Well, we asked Coach, and he just said, we got to shut them out. That's all we have to do, score more runs and shut them out. So they're going to rely on their defense and their pitching. And then they want to put it in play hard. They just don't want to put it in play. They want to make a statement when they connect with the ball.
That ball was high, and to show you how strong of an arm Valinas has, she still had a chance. And now we're going to say that Weeble left first base early. Let's take a look at this one and see. She left, yep, and the first base umpire, Shannon McWhirter, called it from the very start. You can see his arms go up, so no stolen base. The out is recorded. So now there's one out here.
A little anxious, wanting to get the jump, wanting to time it just perfectly, and sometimes you just get a little ahead of yourself, and that's exactly what happened. She got a great jump, but she also had that little half second before the ball left Timmons' hands.
And another ball here to Angie Gorko, the batter. 3 balls, no strikes. So the previous play is not ruled a caught stealing. Instead, it's given as a play to the first baseman, a 3-U. 3-0 misses, and so now Timmons has walked the first 2 she's faced. Let's see if Gorko stays on base a little longer than Weeble did.
I have to either remove the towel or they take it.
So Amber Pfizer has to take the pitching towel out from her back belt.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to allow it because if she gets tagged with it, it's not proper equipment, and so it's hanging out just like your ball gloves.
Okay, we called and talked to people at the state and asked them.
I'm going to ask that we not wear it. Here we go.
So again, Tony Nelson sorting out and has a good explanation. He says the towel would be part of the uniform if she would be tagged out, or not part of the uniform if she gets tagged on that. So.
And interesting, yesterday though, she did wear that towel.
That's right.
So different interpretation, and Tony Nelson is the home plate umpire, and he said we're just going to ask that she doesn't wear it today, and that's his ruling, so you got to run with it.
And Pfizer, when she pitches, she uses that towel and dirt. She does not use rosin. The 1-0 is swung on and fouled back into the screen. Almost into your living room. As our look there behind home plate.
You know, as far as pitchers, it's just whatever feels comfortable for them. For her, it's dirt and the towel. Some people like the rosin, some don't, and it just depends on your routine, how you like it, what the feel is for you, how your ball moves. And I think that's exactly what she's got, that routine. She's got maybe a little comfort for her to have that towel back there.
Pfizer shows bunt, pulls it back, swings, hits it. Foul in front of the dugout. As Andreessen made a chase, but it was just too soft of a liner. Not time to get underneath it and catch that. So it'll remain 1 ball and 2 strikes to Amber Pfizer, the 3rd place hitter for the Bobcats. Again, shows that bunt. At first is Gorko. Swung on and missed. Pfizer goes down swinging. And there's 2 away here in the Bobcat first.
Went after a rise ball, and that's something that Coach Stenberg said they were going to work on last night. They were going to have some hitting practice, working on trying to stay off of that rise ball, knowing that Timmons has a really good one, that it moves very well when it gets to the zone, and that is something that they tried to focus in on last night in hitting practice.
J.C. Lyons digs into bat here, and Coach Stenberg was not real pleased with their hitting performance. He attributed Monday's slow start to rust. He didn't know what to attribute yesterday's slow start to, other than it was a really good pitcher keeping him off speed. Popped up just behind short, drifting back and making the grab is Nicole Yoder. Arms extended over her head, makes the grab, gets the Knights out of the inning. We played one full, no score here from Harlan and Hazel Rogers Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Well, you sure didn't think she got a good jump on that, but she's long. She's got those long arms extended out and made a really nice catch going away from the field.
And the third member of our broadcast crew is Mark Amadeo. And Mark, what do you know?
Well, a lot going on, Paul and Laura. What a day we have. Very warm. The conditions now, the wind's picked up. It's right field to left field for the players on here on Buena Vista Diamond. But, you know, you look at the two teams, kind of stay. We've had some stuff happen with the umpiring crew, and they made a correct call both times. Tony Nelson and Shannon McWhirter did a great job there. But, you know, the wind conditions, the humidity is still thick. You're still wearing everything today. It's very humid, and the players are adjusting because they have fans in the dugout. Now, coming up later, we have another 1-2 matchup. That's a 5 o'clock game. Ackland Westfield taking on Key of Lansing. So 2 times in this tournament out of the 5 games, Laura and Paul, we've got #1 versus #2, and this is the first one.
And you can see that flag mark is still waving a little bit. Just think if we didn't have that breeze.
Oh, we like that breeze. You got a nice breeze there in the press box behind home plate, or the press area, so enjoy it because it is baking out here.
And it doesn't last. Last night when Laura and I were here in that 5A, the 2 semifinals around 7 o'clock last night, the wind died down and it was about 85, 86 degrees, but to me it felt like the hottest of the day because we didn't have the breeze. And we hit about 94, 95 here during the day. You can take a look at the field now. It's about 83. 86 degrees is what I have underneath the box where we're at. So it is warm, but I'm guessing these two teams and their fans especially are glad they're playing this 10A game and not the 2:30 or later.
Well, this is the year that you certainly want to have the first game out of the chute because of the way the temperatures are going to be today. And so it certainly is always. When we get up to Fort Dodge, we have some kind of weather, whether it's rain, whether it's lightning, whether it's heat and humidity. We get it all when we come up here to the state softball tournament.
3 inches of rain fell on Tuesday morning, and it just kept coming. As the 0-1 pitch to Yoder is put into the screen, the freshman faces the senior.
Yoder gets to make the nice play, get him out of the inning, and then she gets the opportunity to start him off here. So a big at bat for her to try to set some momentum.
She is way back in the box, has her right foot right on the chalk line, where you can see it kind of right there in front of Tony Nelson and to the left of J.C. Lyons. There you can see, take a look at her feet. She is all the way back, giving herself as much time as she can against Pfizer's pitch. And that one misses on the inside. This is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, in yesterday's game against Solon, they made adjustments late in the ball game, and they moved around in the box. They were squeezing the plate a little bit, knowing that Solon was throwing to the outside corner, and they wanted to close it down on the inside and make them make their pitch, the pitch that they wanted to throw, and it worked out very well for them because they knocked a couple of home runs out of it. So just that small adjustment by moving in the box helped them see the ball a little bit better.
And you know that's something that Lyons is looking at to see, so I'm guessing that's why they're going to keep pounding it in, and that's exactly where they go and get the strikeout of Yoder. So now that's 4 strikeouts for Pfizer. All of the outs have come via the K. Let's look at this again, because this is, watch where you see Lyons hopped out and then it came back in right at the last moment. Good look.
A lot of movement on her pitches.
And the first pitch to Caitlin Andreessen, the 366 hitting third baseman.
You know, and I like the fact that they let Lyons call the pitches. And she does such a great job of understanding the hitters, taking a look at them, where they're standing in the box, how to throw them. And they said they worked through the lineup once, and then they really sit down together during the next inning and try to figure out the game plan when they see that lineup a second time.
A lot of times you'll have pitching coaches, catchers, pitchers, and they will work ahead and say, we're going to pitch them this way. Weekly hit back to Pfizer. She fields, throws over to Stenberg, and there's now 2 away. Something other than a K for the Knights. I think we're going to already have a pinch hitter.
29 for...
Looks like it's going to be Hannah Wislander is going to pinch hit for Shannon Guy.
29 for 14.
So we may have to bring in Mark a little bit later to explain how this works, but every player is allowed an entry and a re-entry. If you are a starter, that is considered your entry into the game. So Wislander pinch hitting for Guy right here. Wislander's entering once. She could enter the game again if she doesn't stay in the game. We'll see how this one goes with Hannah Wislander at the plate now. Swings and misses at that first pitch. Wislander, I think, got the start yesterday against Solon.
He's used a lot of combinations, Coach Farrell has, in that left field and in this spot in the lineup. He finagles around with that and makes some adjustments within game and to start the game. So he's got a method that he likes to use and has been very successful for them.
Now their inside pitch called a strike, and if Pfizer gets that, she is going to have probably a pretty good day in the circle. This time they go up and out of the zone. But if a pitcher gets those corners that you talked about, Laura, that they want, it's usually a pitcher's day.
Yeah, it really is. And you have to understand that you have to work every batter differently, work them in and out, throw them different speeds like you just saw there, work them up and down. You've got to really work that zone, figure out what calls you're getting, and then pitch to the weakness of the hitter to get them out.
The changeup just below the knees. The 2-2 pitch with 2 outs here in the second. Another changeup. That one is going to be a called third strike. And Wislander goes down for the 3rd out. 5 strikeouts now for Amber Pfizer. 5 of 6. It's an impressive start. But how did they get here, you ask? We've talked a little bit about the Solon win, but Davenport Assumption knocked off Atlantic in the opening game, 11-3. Solon got into that semifinal with knocking down CMB, Collins Maxwell Baxter. Boyd and Hall Rock Valley pulled one of the first upsets of the tournament to get in that contest. And then Benton beat Esterville Lincoln Center 9-0, and that was a no-hitter. Then Benton beat Boyd and Hall yesterday 4-1, and Assumption knocked out the defending champion Class 3A by a score of 5-2, and that's how we ended up here in the Class 3A state title game.
And yesterday, both very exciting games in the semifinals to get to this point.
And, you know, Solon, Coach Jim White, as Coach Ron Farrell told us after the game, he says, Jim White is probably one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the state. And he says, I expected a chess match, and I knew that that was what was going to happen, and he got it.
Yeah, and it really was. It was cat and mouse.
All right, so Mark Amadeo is an umpire. In fact, soon to be a Hall of Fame umpire in a couple of days. But Mark, explain this re-entry to me.
Well, each player, whether you're a starter or sub, gets a re-entry. Now, if you're a substitute, you have to re-enter in the same spot you sub. So if you come in for the 5th player, that young lady gets to re-enter in the 5th spot only. But both starters and subs in high school get a re-entry.
Thank you, Mark. That's why they pay you the big bucks. He clarifies a lot of these umpire rules for us so we don't give you misinformation. And it's really good to hear the umpire, you know, like we heard with Tony Nelson explain that call earlier, what was happening. As the first pitch is a strike, and the second one is swung on and missed to Shelby Hulsebus, as Nicole Timmons is ahead now in the count.
Boy, a lot of movement happening with this Assumption defense with the left-handed hitter up, and everybody charging. Seen different formations over at second base. Kelly really charged hard on that first pitch, then charged and backed up on the second pitch. So a lot of different things they're looking at, and I think it depends on what pitches they're going to be throwing to Hulsebus.
And Timmons threw that one in the screen. I don't think it slipped out of her hand. I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. And that one is popped up on a bunt to a diving third baseman, Caitlin Andreessen, who scoops it up off the dirt, makes the catch, and Hulsebus is retired to start the Bobcats second.
Perfectly played. They had the defense alignment set perfectly. Andreessen playing in a few steps, able to get a good jump on that, get in underneath it, and make the catch.
Stenberg swings underneath it and is now down 0-1. So we mentioned Nicole Timmons and Hannah Kelly both were the main pitchers for Assumption, and that's going to hit Stenberg on the leg, and she's going to go down to first base on a hit by pitch. So another base runner aboard for the Bobcats. Now you can see that it looked like a slap the whole time, and Hulsebus gets it, and then a nice dive right there on the left side to Andreessen on the glove hand. And we're going to have a courtesy runner down at first base as the catcher, or the courtesy running for the first base person. Looks like we're going to see Braden Moore go in here. Yes. So it's going to be a pinch runner, not a courtesy runner, because you can only courtesy run for the pitcher or the catcher. And they're going to look at Stenberg, hit her on the arm. Oh, okay, so the trainer has come out. And so when we showed you the diving catch there earlier, oh, there is now, you can see some blood coming from Andreessen as you get a look there at Moore down at first base as she was, and now the trainer's there. You can see now Caitlin Andreessen getting attended to. So she did make that diving catch, but it came at a price. Some of her skin is left there on the field. Good effort, and she was able to gut it out for the first couple of pitches of that next batter, but then when we had this break in the action for a pinch runner, she decided to go ahead and get looked at. So there you see Coach Eric Stenberg. Doc, as he's called by his players, he is an emergency room doctor in Iowa City. He works a lot of days, not just being a doctor on the overnight shift, but trying to be a softball coach. I think he said somewhere around to the neighborhood of he worked 12 of 14 days in the ER before he came to state. He's taken a week off this week, and he'll take a week off next week before he goes back and works. So in late July, it's a hard-working guy.
He really is, and he said he wants to take the extra week off after the softball tournament so he can go down to the baseball tournament and watch the high school baseball tournament. So he loves his sports, and he's also a very dedicated doctor in the emergency room.
Used to coach youth baseball with his son, used to coach youth softball with his daughter. Now he's coaching her at the varsity level at Benton Community as the first pitch to Jessica Heilman is in there for a ball. Stenberg from the Cedar Rapids area went to Kennedy, Kirkwood, and then Mount Mercy, and got his medical degree from DMU in Des Moines. As that pitch evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So Timmons now, a little bit of disruption in the momentum here might have moved in her favor, kind of slowed her down a little bit.
Ball.
Good spot, just misses there on Jessica.
Coach down at third base, not giving signals, giving numbers, and all the players have a little card on their wrist. They have the wrist card. They take a look and see what numbers he's giving them, and they go with that instead of the old traditional give an indicator, brush the bill of the cap, down the arm, that kind of thing. And I don't think he's very happy right now with Braden Moore. I think she missed the sign. He wanted her to go. It was supposed to be a hit and run.
Because I don't think he wanted to swing at that pitch up out of the zone, but they're going to go there again, and Heilman's going to strike out.
Didn't work out according to plan, what they wanted to do, and you know, if you don't get those signals down and understand what you need to do with the game plan, little tiny mistakes like that could come back to haunt you. Oh. I'm gonna guess that she might be stealing on this because he was very emphatic about the call over to first base.
And the ball is put in play towards short. Good in the hole made, and it's going to be safe. Beating it out is Martinson. Yoder made a great move to her right, backhanded it, but just hit at the right speed to allow Speedy Grace Martinson to get down to first base.
Just far enough in the hole. She's got great range and a great backhand, but going away from the play, just could not get enough behind that throw to get the out over at first.
That will be ruled a hit for Martinson. So you've got runners at first and second now. Moore is the runner at second.
Inside.
And the runner at first is Heilman. And the first pitch is a ball. It misses. There's a look at Moore. She's pinch running for Stenberg, who was hit by pitch. She's in scoring position with 2 away. That one is swung on and tipped by Brunson.
Boy, and I think that might have got Tony Nelson right on the face mask. He had to take his mask off and kind of check parts and make sure everything was in place.
I know what he's trying to do.
The 1-1 is high. Brunson is one of the few seniors on this team, 3 in the lineup. The one that gets the least amount of attention, but when you're playing behind Wiebel and Pfizer, that's understandable. That one is letters high, and the count is even. So Timmons now a pitch away from getting out of this jam. Runner at second, runner at first. Brunson at the plate. Could be a game-turning moment right here. Swung on and fouled. Back into the screen. We'll do it again.
The runners will be able to get a good jump with 2 out on contact. You get going, and if there's anything to the outfield, Moore could possibly score if she gets a good jump.
But if she hits it so hard, it's kind of harder to do. We'll see what happens. That one's a called third strike. Brunson goes down, and the threat is erased. The Bobcats leave a pair. Timmons gets a couple of strikeouts here. She's got 3 in the ball game. Look at this one, Laura.
Boy, that's on the outside corner, and it just really froze Brunson at the plate. Couldn't get the bat off the shoulder.
All right, since you have that short base, it was a nice play going to the backhand. You did a fine job there. Just give yourself a little more cushion, okay? All right, hey, girls, how many hits are you going to get if I just don't let you go to the plate with the bat? If I just don't let you take a bat up there, how many hits are you going to hit? Well, that's just how many you're going to get if you stand there and watch good strikes go by. All right, we're here to hit. We're here to hit. And you can't hit her watching the best pitch go by and then give her her best stuff. All right, if she gives you a flat one, hit it. If you have 2 strikes, hit it. Let's go.
Ron Farrell firing up the squad. And they're facing a tough, tall task in Amber Pfizer. Take a look at this in super slow motion.
You can see how much push she gets off of the rubber. Look how far she extends the wrist and the whip of the hand. And she gets a lot of movement on those pitches. And that just, and I think, you know what, a lot of her power comes from her legs. So much power diving off of that rubber and digging in and getting herself moving towards the plate gives her a lot of miles per hour on those pitches.
The number 9 place hitter, Jana Miller, steps into the left side of the box for the Knights, and she's down a strike to start the 3rd. That one goes high, and it's even. You know, Pfizer has that, you can tell that she's worked on a weight program for building that lower body. Those legs really give her a lot of power. That's one of the things that they have worked on is weight room and trying to get stronger. That is something that softball players, female athletes didn't used to do, but now it is an absolute part of every sport. And the ones that you see in championship games are usually the ones that spend the most time in the weight room.
Well, and she's only going to get stronger as she goes to the University of Minnesota. Very good softball program in the Big Ten, and they're going to be able to develop her even more.
We talked about Kendall Lindemann earlier. She will be a teammate, the Ankeny Centennial star, and she actually could be your catcher as Miller strikes out as you have those 2 going north of the border to be Gophers. 2 very good gets going to be in Minnesota next season with Kendall Lindemann and Amber Pfizer.
That's probably their battery of the future, those 2, that combination. And then came right into the state of Iowa where we have great girls softball and took them away from us. So, you know, wish them good luck. Wish they would have stayed at home and gone to school in Iowa somewhere. But great opportunity for both of those young ladies to play at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, Kelly swings and pops it up into the stands behind home here. You can see some of the fans there in their bright green shirts from Benton Community. A lot of Benton fans have made their way here. This is their second straight year in the state championship. Last year, a runner-up to Solon. This year, trying to hoist that crown. Assumption's never played in the state title game. This is the farthest they've ever made it in school history. No team title would mean a lot to the Knights. Normally a baseball school. They've been very good in boys baseball. Now it's softball's turn. Kelly hits the first pitch, or hits the off speed, and that's the first hit of the game for the Knights.
Well, coach's speech fired him up, and he said if it comes in flat, hit it. And she sure did. That was an off-speed pitch right around the knees, and Kelly held the hands back when able to find the gap and get it out to left field.
So Kelly's aboard with one out here in the third. Top of the order. Sophie Van Severin's going for the, she was going for the slap, the running slap. And she fouls it into the screen. She reached on an error back in the first, made it as far as second. As she looks down the line for the signs.
You got Brunson playing in, really in that gap.
And that one is fouled again.
From second base, she's really coming in, and so that means that Weeble has to come over and cover on the steal. It's going to leave things wide open. So if you do a hit and run, bunt and run, slap and run, something like that, the whole left side of the field is going to open up.
Sometimes you'll see an outfielder come in, but I don't see any of the outfielders breaking here. We'll see what happens on the 0-2. Slapped, foul. Since it's not a bunt, she'll get another one.
That's exactly what she was trying to do, trying to slap it into that 5-6 gap over there on the left side, because Weeble's starting to cheat over to second base to cover on the steal, because they could get a strike them out, throw them out here too, is what they're hoping for.
Van Severin looks at a called strike 3, and she'll sit down.
Another great pitch by Pfizer. It's a good battle, though, by Van Severin, but...
Look at this one up the middle. See where it catches. Catcher really didn't move the glove much at all. And a lot of times the umpire likes that. So now Ackerman swings and puts one into the stands on the right side, above the Benton fans. And you can see Pfizer now, she's taking it one pitch at a time. That's the saying that's written on her wrist. That's the team's motto. They all have it written there. Another one hit square right behind home. So missed that pitch again. Ackerman, you can see the red hair in the ponytail sticking out behind the back of her helmet. A lot of the girls have that. That wasn't something they did on a board Tuesday when they were rained out here. That was something they did after the regional final, kind of bring the team together. Almost every player has some form of red in the hair. Show the school colors of red and black for Davenport Assumption. And that one's fouled into the screen as well.
See what Pfizer has in store here. She's throwing these hitters a lot of different things. Off speed, inside, hitting corners.
Ackerman just got a piece of that off-speed rise. I mean, that was like a change-up rise ball.
Well, it
kept moving up.
It was off speed, and it was on the outside corner, and Pfizer, after Ackerman fouled it off, she kind of let out a big breath and went, oh, I thought I had her.
The 0-2. Fastball low. Throw to second is not in time. Kelly is going to be in there with a stolen base.
And they wanted to get a runner in scoring position. They kept trying to get Kelly on the move. She got the jump on the 0-2 count.
And Kelly is long and tall. And those feet got there before the tag did from Weeble. Ackerman again, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes, swings and misses, and the threat is erased. The 8th strikeout for Pfizer. Another runner stranded.
We are killing ourselves right now. We're swinging at crap. We're not getting the right signs, all right? We're playing like crap right now. Up here. It's all up here. Fix the mental part, we win the ball game, all right? Let's go.
Coaches know that they are mic'd. He says he doesn't swear, so he was close. But you can tell it's all upstairs. And so, again, this is the 3rd straight game they've started slow. But this to me, this is not as slow as they've been the first two games. This is just a product of Assumption is very good. They've had runners on base. They've been swinging the ball. But as you talked about, Laura, just not maybe getting everything done right, maybe catching every sign. You said it earlier, and he just confirmed what you were saying. Okay. All right, let's take a look here at Nicole Timmons in her super slow motion throw.
She gets a little more upper body into her pitches, but she also gets good drive off the mound and a little bit more whippy arm motion and turns that wrist over on some of her pitches.
What does that get you with a turned over wrist?
It gets you more movement, more spin on the ball, and not being a pitcher, I don't know all of what a ball can do. I know sitting behind a plate and watching these pitchers pitch that they have a lot of movement, that they dive into the hitters or they move away from the hitters, but that's certainly going to get you a curve type of pitch by flipping that wrist over. Sometimes it'll get you a drop ball depending on how you're holding the seams.
Top of the lineup for the Bobcats. Weeble looks at another one go out of the zone. Weeble's been a little quiet in this tournament. Don't know if she's putting a little extra pressure on herself or the other teams are just pitching her that good. I think it's kind of a combination of the two.
And I don't think really gotten a lot of opportunity, and has walked several times in this tournament. 0 for 2 in the quarterfinal, 1 for 2 yesterday. So not a lot of really official at-bats to really try to do anything. So getting on base via the walk, but not getting an opportunity to hit.
Pops this one up a mile high, and coming in is Andreessen. Valinus was making her way there too, but Andreessen had it the whole way, looking straight into that sun. Valinus, another catch. And she retires the tough Weeble.
Well, and good talking, and probably a better angle for Andreessen coming in, because Valinus was kind of moving away, was looking over her shoulder to try to catch that one.
And it's going away from the catcher usually on a foul ball. There's usually much more spin on it. And that's why, unless your catcher is your absolute best player, you usually let your fielder on the inside take that one. Called strike, and the count is even on Angie Gorko. Her last at bat was a walk back in the first. She's a freshman, so there's some underclassmen sprinkled in on this Benton team.
And she had a couple of hits yesterday, a good game for her, 2 for 4 at the plate, and so they need to get her doing the same thing here again today, maybe start a little bit of a rally for them with 1 out.
She's got 43 RBIs on the season, so she knows you can control the bat well, but when you're hitting behind Weeble, a lot of times she's on base. Maybe a double and another double scores her. You know, coaches love when you just go back-to-back doubles, just trade places.
Well, and hitting is contagious, and so if, oh, that ball came right up off the bat into her chin, but as all these players have started to wear the face masks in the field, but always have had to wear them as softball has progressed at the plate, that ball saved her, because that ball was right up in her chin.
The 2-2. Ripped foul and near the IPTV production truck outside of left field. So if you hear a thump on the truck, folks, that's what it was. I'm here to help.
You know, and maybe something like that, that ball coming off that bat, jarring her a little bit, maybe woke her up. I mean, that's maybe what Coach is talking about. You got to get going here, and sometimes all it takes is something like that.
But then the off-speed just pulled the string on it on Gorko. What a pitch from Timmons. The bottom just flat out fell off.
When you have a hitter that drills one foul like she just did, you come back with a pitch like that because you know how anxious they are to get around and take another swing and try to drive one.
And that one misses on the inside of Pfizer. Sometimes you will see, Laura, in warm-ups, the pitcher will throw maybe one or two in the dirt on purpose just to kind of get that, let me just make sure I've got that pitch because I want to bounce it. And they intentionally bounce it just for that exact reason.
You work on all things during warm-ups. You work with your catcher, and you know, by doing that too, it allows the catcher to get moving and getting down and blocking the ball, because when you have runners on base, you want your catcher to get down in the dirt and keep the ball in front. So all kinds of situations. You don't just go to the bullpen and just throw pitches and go, hey, I'm loose, I'm ready to go. You work on situations when you're in there.
Speaking of pitchers, Amber Pfizer is in the box, and she's watched the first three go out of the zone. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and that one's down Broadway for a strike.
And she remembered to take the towel off. So she's not trying to sneak one by the umpire, but complies with the rules and took the towel off, but has that towel right back there when she's back in the circle.
And now Timmons has battled all the way back to make the count even, or a full 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Popped up, foul ball, rise ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I looked at Coach Stenberg, and he goes, it was up, stay down. You want it in the zone. And go back again to talking to him yesterday, that they knew what they were going to get coming into this ball game. And they worked on it, and so that's something that they're going to need to try to control here through the rest of this ball game.
Another one is fouled out of play off the third base side.
And that's so tough to do because those balls are just right there for the taking. They're tasty. You just want to drive that ball because it's right in your wheelhouse, and then it moves.
The 3-2. Chopped foul this time. So that was low. That wasn't up.
Well, she's mixing it up, and that's because you don't want them thinking rise, 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 because they're eventually going to catch up to that. And they're good enough hitters that if you see it enough, you're going to be able to connect. So you've got to mix it up.
The 9th pitch of the at-bat is ball 4.
Good battle by Pfizer, fouling off a few pitches and able to get herself on with 2 outs, and I believe we're going to get the courtesy runner now.
So coming in is, that's Jessica
3 for 13. Courtesy.
Pollock.
3 courtesy for 20.
And so Pfizer will go get that towel put back in her belt. And Havlick, my V looked like a U, so that's Jessie Havlick. Thank you. My handwriting's never been known for winning awards, and I cost my own self right there. 2 outs here in the 3rd. First one is out of the zone to J.C. Lyons, the catcher. She popped up behind short in the 1st to end the inning. I'm guessing she doesn't want to do that again. Timmons throws one right below the knees.
Now we're coming into this ball game. Pretty good tournament so far in that quarterfinal game. 3 for 3, 1 for 4 yesterday, and so she's had the hot bat for Benton.
That one's out of the zone. Lyons plays basketball for Coach Lori Donald at Benton. Also does show choir. She had the big night, as you said, on the quarterfinal. A couple of big hits.
Here we go, ladies. Here we go, Coach. Send them back. Here we go, ladies. Here we go.
So Doc has his conversation.
Let's play.
Bolinas and Timmons are chatting.
You want to keep things moving. We keep talking about the heat and the humidity, but you don't really want to linger out on the field because it is warm, and it does take its toll, and want to keep things on time and keep the game moving.
We've now ticked up to 87 degrees. We were at 86 at first pitch. Here as we move over the 11 o'clock hour in central Iowa. And Lyons looks at a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike. Havlick's at first as the courtesy runner. Lyons swings and evens the, puts the count full.
And that'll give Havlick a chance to go on the pitch with the full count. Lyons an opportunity to connect, and with Havlick moving, depending on where the ball goes, if it's in the gap, she could score.
And it's ball 4, so it won't matter if Havlick was safe or out, because she gets the base automatically.
Take defensive timeout. You're gonna
10 is coming for 11. Courtesy.
We're gonna have another courtesy runner.
Next 3 pitches to their cleanup batter. That's where I wanted her. We got to slap her up now. Okay, she's mostly soft, but you know, in this scenario, she's probably going to try to power up. I need you to let Soph know if she stays down on the bat, Soph needs to stay back. If she comes up the barrel, she needs to collapse. Dig down. You're tired. I'm tired. She's tired. But you know what? They're tired. Dig down and find something inside of you and get this out right here.
10, courtesy.
She swings. If she starts swinging, you run. Just take off. Okay? All right, let's go.
Ladies, let's go.
As we play here, they are finished on Diamond 2. Solon gets 3rd place with a 6-3 win over Boyden Hull Rock Valley. 6-3 was the final in that game. So Solon champs last year, now 3rd place this season. Benton Community was the runner-up last year. Benton has a runner at 2nd and a runner at 1st. And they have Shelby Hulsebus at the plate. As you heard Coach Farrell say, she's a slapper. That's what we want.
And he said they have to communicate. They have to let each other know where they're going to be. They want to take a look at her hands and see what she does with the bat. If she drops it all the way down, is she going to lay down a bunt and try to beat it out? Is she going to really try to slap it, punch it out into the outfield? So you got to kind of watch the hands as well.
The 0-2 is dropped. Throw down to 3rd is not in time. Havlick steals, as does the other courtesy runner, Samantha Raby.
That's the exact position they wanted to be in, and she changed her hands up a little bit at the plate. Didn't drop the bat down like she was going to slap. Looked like it was going to be a bunt. Corners charged. That allowed 3rd base to be vacated, and that allowed Havlick to get in there safe.
The 1-2 bat is pulled back by Hulsebus. Now the count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 3rd. Home half of the 3rd, the Bobcats have a hit, so do the Knights. Popped up, foul and out of play.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Samantha Raby's getting a huge jump off of 2nd base, and she wants to score on anything hit to the outfield. She's also helping Hulsebus, giving her some hand signals out there at 2nd, letting her know location.
Put in play right in front of the pitcher. No play, there's nobody at 1st. Run scores, Benton strikes with the 1st run of the ball game here in the 3rd on a comebacker to Timmons. She had nowhere to go. Ackerman had charged. Havlick scores and the Bobcats lead 1-0.
They made it happen on the base paths. They did it with some speed. Just a little punch right back out to 1st base, and nobody at home because corners were drawn in with the slapper at the plate, and that gets the 1st run home.
That slap had so much spin on it. It just backspinned and then died. It wouldn't have mattered how quick it went back to her. There was nobody to throw to at 1st.
And she was quick down the line, too. She got a good jump out of the box, so it would have been very close, even if it would have been a normal play. But now they have runners at the corners, and you have to expect Hulsebus to move on down to 2nd. So see how Assumption's going to play this.
Stenberg looks at the 1st one high. So Benton Community gets on the board 1st. And you got to see now what Nicole Timmons has left. And that one's inside. I did see what looked like a couple of Assumption players heading down to the bullpen here about 2 batters ago. Maybe Mark can confirm for me if that was Hannah Kelly or not. Ground ball through the hole. That's going to score another run. Raby scores. 2-0 Bobcats.
Well, as I said earlier, hitting is contagious, and you get up to the plate. If somebody in front of you has made a nice play, gotten a base hit, then it just gives you much more confidence, and that's what's happening right now. The confidence level of these hitters at the plate, they know what kind of pitch they're looking for, and they're wanting to drive it and put it into the outfield and continue to get more runs in.
So RBI for Stenberg, as the coach for Assumption, Ron Farrell, came out to talk to the home plate umpire. He was wanting to know if all players had been labeled for re-entry because he thought maybe there was an illegal player. But the umpire says, nope, I got this one. Jessica Heilman comes in, struck out in her first appearance, bats now with runners at first and second, and a 2-0 lead on her side.
Assumption in this position yesterday, down 2-0. Early in the ball game, able to fight their way back, and wild pitch now.
We'll move up the runners. That one just flat out got away from her.
And she just hung on to that too long, trying to overthrow it. That just got away from Timmons. She's rattled a little bit, and I think Linus is going to go out and talk to her a little bit, give her that confidence, knowing that they have 2 outs, come after this hitter, get out of the inning.
And that pitch is low. 3-0, so you're a pitch away from loading up the bases. And that would be, and remember, Laura, this is all coming with 2 outs. That one's in there for a strike. Weeble popped up to the third baseman. Gorko struck out, and then Pfizer drew a walk. Lyons got a walk. Then an RBI single for Hulsebus, and Stenberg gets us to Heilman. The 3-1 is high, and the bags are packed.
And we go back to one of the keys for Benton was better plate discipline, and I'd say in this half inning, they really have bought into that. They have had the discipline at the plate to be able to get them on base and get them in this situation.
We are going to see a Timmons pitch, but it is not going to be... It's going to be Allie Timmons coming in. So Allie Timmons.
All the way warm. How much do you need?
I've warmed up my fastball to
Okay, well, let's get an out here, and you get to the bullpen and get yourself warmed up, okay? Hey, doesn't this look familiar? I mean, we've been here before. All right, we've been here before. Let's go. She's going to get us a ground out or a pop up here. We got to force out at every base, knock the ball down, do not let it get through. Let's come back in here and regroup. All right, come on. Dig this environment. This is amazing. Let's go.
So I had said that Timmons was maybe the one, or Kelly was the one warming up. I knew as soon as I said it, I looked out because Kelly is playing second base, so she really can't warm up during an inning. She was playing second, so you heard Coach Farrell say, how long are you going to need to get warm? So the role of a pitcher, backup pitcher, third string pitcher, you got to warm up because you're going to be needed at any moment, especially in a state championship game, because you can't let it get to too much more than 2. And if Benton gets a hit and, you know, the ball finds the outfield right now, it could easily be 4-0. So right now, you got to make the change, just maybe the off-speed change. You go with the freshman, Allie Timmons here. We'll see what happens.
Illegal pitch.
I was just going to say, that was an illegal pitch.
He exceeded the time limit on the pitch. It's a legal pitch. It's ball 1. Exceeded the time limit on the pitch. She's got a pitch within 5 seconds of putting that in her glove.
So
ball 1 on the batter.
So Tony Nelson, he's had an active day behind the plate. He calls that an illegal pitch because after it goes in her glove, he says she's got 5 seconds to throw it. And it did take a little bit longer. And I didn't know if he was going to call, because you could have called another play. And that one's ripped to left center. That's going to score 1. Throw comes in and is stopped by the catcher. They'll hold Stenberg at third. Hulsebus scores, 3-0 Bobcats. Grace Martinson gets the job done.
Now Timmons comes in, maybe a little rattled with the illegal pitch call. That ball right down the plate, and Martinson just drills it to left field.
Allie is a freshman. She's only appeared in her second game. She pitched 1 inning.
5 seconds.
Ball. Well, it's a tough situation when your backup pitcher is already out in the field and you need them to get warmed up. So it's the stopgap that they needed to use. They just need to get out of this right now at this point, not give up any more runs.
And Timmons misses the zone again. So you have a couple of options here. If you're Coach Farrell and you've got your other pitcher playing in the field and she's not fully warmed up, the next one misses. He can take her chance and see if she can get warm in 6 pitches in between batters. Or you bring in somebody to play second base, send her to the bullpen, bring her back. But in that time, it could be 2 or 3 batters. 4.
Right. I mean, it's a tough situation to be in right now. A tough situation for Allie Timmons to come in bases loaded and have to try to shut down a powerful lineup.
That one's in the zone. So Leah Brunson, the 9th batter for the Bobcats this inning. The 7th with 2 outs. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded here in the 3rd. Popped up, out of play. We'll do it again. So now Timmons, the other Timmons, Allie. Lines and fires. Ripped high in the air. Gonna get past a diving center fielder. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. 3 runs will score. A base clearing double for Leah Brunson. Huge.
Full count. Timmons had to come close, had to come in to the plate and just left it up enough where Brunson was able to drive it out into the gap. But what a great effort, by Van Severen out there in center field, just off the tip of her glove, but it clears the bases.
Oh, she did give every effort, and so now I think we're going to have another change.
My center fielder in the 2 spot will come to second base.
Center in the 2 spot will come to second.
And then my left fielder, number 14 in the 8 spot, will go to center field.
Center field.
Did you catch all that?
I was trying to write frantically on my scorecard. I couldn't keep up with it, so we're going to have to take a peek and see where he's made a lot of changes and moved a lot of players around.
And what he did was the B scenario we laid out there a moment ago. He took out his second baseman, Hannah Kelly, and sent her to the bullpen. And so he moved. So he's gonna, he knows that this inning can't go anymore. So he moved Van Severen from center to second to allow Kelly to go to the bullpen and warm up. So now Benton is batting around here in the 3rd. Weeble with a runner at second and up 6-0. First pitch is off speed and in there for a strike. So Benton Community having a huge inning, breaking through with all 6 runs here.
With 2 outs.
With 2 outs.
So 2 big 2-out rally.
And now Allie Timmons gets ahead of Weeble, 0-2. She's bearing down. She knows what's happened. This is her chance right here. Wastes one out of the zone. And one of the things when you have to explain all those moves, it gives your player just a little extra time to warm up in the bullpen. Off speed ripped. That's going to get fielded by Yoder, but nothing more than that can happen. Infield single all the way for Weeble.
Good effort by Yoder keeping it in. Otherwise, another run would score. And a good at bat by Weeble. Almost getting it out to the outfield, but a good at bat. Finally able to get those arms extended and put one in play.
Yoder's got some range there. Made a good move. Gorko struck out in her last appearance earlier this inning. She was the second out, which I think if your Assumption feels like half an hour ago, if you're Benton, it feels like 30 seconds ago. Timmons misses. They run the cut play, and now they're going to play a little game of chicken. And almost thrown away. Again, good stop by Andreessen. Weeble gets down to second.
I'm not sure initially if Allie Timmons thought that ball, she thought it was going all the way through, and then she reached up at the last minute and kept it in front. So she was ducking, wanting that ball to go all the way through, but that started the play, but they do have the runners now in scoring position.
And I don't know if there was anybody at second base. There might not have been a fielder there. The 1-2 is high to Gorko, who's 0-1 in the game. Walked and struck out. Sixth run, third for the Bobcats. Huge in this contest. That one's high, gets away from Valinas. Benton Community, the faithful have made their way here from eastern Iowa, just to the east and a little, or I'm sorry, west and a little north of Cedar Rapids. Ripped into center for a base hit. Another run will score. Here comes the second runner. Here comes Weeble. She'll score. 8-0 Bobcats. Brunson and Weeble score.
Shot right back up the middle. That ball's right about belt high, and you can see Weeble has to duck as it comes right her way, and a good throw out there by Guy. Almost think you let that come through, you might have had a play at the plate. Instead, they cut it.
So here's, I have to admit, Laura, it was going through my mind when Pfizer went in, and I mentioned earlier in this inning she was going to go put the towel back on, and I almost said, well, maybe she's not, because she's going to have wishful thinking that they're going to bat around. And here they are. She probably did put the towel in her belt, and then she had to take it back out, as we're going to have another pitching change. And this is the one that they just kind of needed to give Hannah Kelly a little bit of time to warm up and work a couple of pitches out. So Pfizer will time those pitches. Benton Community, made up of Van Horn and Newhall, Norway, Atkins, Blairstown, Elberson, Keystone, and Watkins. I'm sure you've been to all those towns.
At some point in time, I've driven through, I think, some of them.
Beautiful area. And, you know, you talk about Norway, and Grace Martinson is the granddaughter of one of the greatest baseball coaches in Iowa. You might know if you saw that movie, The Final Season, which was about Norway.
Okay. Hey, girls, enjoy the experience right now. Don't get down on yourselves. Don't pressure yourself. Enjoy the experience, and if you have enough fun, who knows what might happen. We still got some ball game left. Let's go.
Jim Van Scoyk was the Norway head baseball coach for decades. won hundreds of games. I think it's north of 800. And that's his granddaughter, Grace Martinson, who had an RBI single back. So Norway, now part of Benton Community. So it's an area that covers a lot of ground. And it's been very successful in softball over time. And now they're starting to feel that a state championship might be in their grasp as they lead 8-0 here in the third inning. Amber Pfizer at the plate. First pitch, excellent pitch from Hannah Kelly, the sophomore. She started 19 games this season, 17-1, an ERA of 1.87. Opponents are batting .232 against her, and that pitch is inside.
Inside.
Valinas was asking exactly where that was. You could hear Tony Nelson say inside.
And the line out is made to Pfizer. The Bobcats get 8. Huge inning for Benton.
Let's go down fighting. But I'm going to give it everything I got to the end. Either you give it everything you got or go to the doggone bench. Let's go. Fight to the end.
We'll find out if they can fight to the end, but right now, Doc is in charge, and he's with Mark Amadeo.
All right, thanks, Paul, and I'm with Coach Eric Stenberg. And, Coach, what an inning, an 8-run third inning after battling this Davenport team, nick and tough for the first 2 innings.
Yeah, the girls finally made some adjustments, started laying off the bad pitches and hitting the good ones, and they put a few hits together. I'm real proud of them.
You went from ER doctor to psychiatrist. You told them it was all mental earlier in the game.
Absolutely. It's kind of been our way of thinking all year. So if we can fix our mental aspect, be a lot better in the field, and they did that just now, so I'm proud of them.
Well, defense could be the key to locking this up. You got the runs, now you have the defense behind you. That'll be the case for the next 2 innings.
I have complete confidence in our defense and Amber on the hill, so I think we're in good shape. Hopefully we'll hold serve here.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Paul, Laura, back to you.
Coach Eric Stenberg looking on. Is that a state championship coach here in a little bit? They got a ways to go. We enter the 4th. If the Bobcats can tack on 2 more here, we'll be done after 5, but I get the feeling Assumption's not going away.
No, I don't think so. I think they got a pretty good little pep talk, and they are not going to lay down here. They're going to battle back as best they can. Now, they just need base runners, and that's got to be the mindset when you get to the plate. You can't swing for the fences. You can't try to do too much. Got to string some things together.
Assumption is the best hitting team in the tournament field, batting .387. Second, only 3 points less, is the Bobcats. So these two teams can hit the ball. 30 home runs for Assumption, and one of the ones who hit one yesterday was at the plate right now, Emma Valinas, and she looks at the first pitch out of the zone. Her sister is watching
I got you.
via the internet today at IPTV.org. From Europe. She's in Prague, where she's playing softball.
Yeah, her sister Allison Spinis Valinas played 4 years of basketball at Bradley University. 6'3" center, very good basketball player. Her 5th year decided that she was going to use that 5th year and play softball for Bradley University. Had a very nice year pitching there for them. And then has gone on to play professional softball. So a nice opportunity for her to continue her career, see the world, and an opportunity to see her sister play in a state championship game.
Emma looks at one out of the zone, and Emma's headed to UNI. She's only a junior.
3-1.
She can play the game, loves to play the game. Had a really nice conversation with her yesterday afternoon. And that's in there for a strike, and her team trying to follow her lead. Yesterday, she set the tone. It kind of got them out of the funk against Solon. Let's see what she can do at this at-bat. Full count, 3-2 pitch from Pfizer. Strike 3.
You can see her kind of lean back. That ball was coming in at her, and you could tell right there, that's how much spin and movement Pfizer has on her pitches, because Valinas thought it was coming in on the hands, moved away, and then it just cut right back over the plate.
And the pitch to Carly Salmon is swung on and missed. Struck out in her last appearance back in the first. Bats here in the fourth, down 8-0.
An 8th grader. So one of the players here in the state of Iowa that's going to play as she goes into her freshman year, gets that extra year under her belt, and has produced very well for this team, hitting almost 500, 493 coming into this tournament, and a couple of hits so far in this tournament, 1 for 4 in the quarters, 1 for 3 yesterday.
And that one is off of J.C. Lyons' face mask. And that's the nice thing an umpire will do.
Yep. Take your turn.
Is he'll walk the ball out.
Not dizzy or nothing, right? Okay.
And the doctor comes out. The trainer, boom, just knocks the head straight back. Or you can see the the dust go off of Lyons.
They just want to make sure everything, because that can ring your bell a little bit, and you want to make sure that she's okay, not dizzy, not lightheaded at all, and with that heat, that can only cause more problems. So they just want to make sure she's okay to go.
Now, back in your playing days, Laura, they did wear masks, but they weren't quite as
not as big as those.
Not as big as those is what I was trying to get to. Not to say that you played before masks. They played
with leather helmets. Is that what we did?
And a swing and a miss, strike. Game for Pfizer. I mean, the technology is different, even in the last 5 to 10 years. Now they wear almost, I call it a hockey mask look. And it is just so much stronger and much more protection for the player.
You know, you're right. The face masks of the olden days were just very small. I mean, they just barely fit over your face. And I played softball with a gal at Drake University that didn't wear shin guards.
Oh,
she just wore the chest protector and the face mask. And she certainly came through it okay, but all the equipment nowadays, I'm not even sure she'd even want to play with all the equipment that you'd have to wear. So, but I think things have developed, players have gotten stronger and faster, and you do need to have that equipment keep up with the abilities of the players.
Yoder down 0-2, and that pitch sails out of the zone. Yoder's made some really nice plays in the field. Now she's trying to do it with the bat. Another underclassman. This is a 9th grader. Only Ashley Ackerman and Jana Miller, Caitlin Andreessen are your seniors on this squad. So 6 of your starters are underclassmen. Bodes well for your future at Assumption. I don't think this is the last time we'll see Assumption here, and nor Benton Community for that matter. The 1-2. Misses inside on Yoder. Batting .403 on the season. Grips that white bat with a light blue on it. For Pfizer, her 11th of the game. And she has struck out the side in 3 of her 4 innings.
Well, that's how good she's been all season long.
All right, let's go back to Mark Amadeo, who is with the head coach of the Assumption Knights, and Ron Farrell. Mark?
Yeah, thanks, Paul and Laura, and I'm with Coach Farrell, and God, got off to a great start, and you were pecking away, and you told the kids to be aggressive, and then you had that 8-run inning in the 3rd.
Kids came ready to play. They did a great job. I'm proud of them. My pitcher got a little tired, and bottom line, my number 2 and number 3 pitchers were in the field. We'd started to warm them up, but I didn't quite have them warmed up yet when I felt I had to make a move. So I went to a young girl. She did a great job. She did a nice effort, but Benton took advantage of some mistakes she made and kind of blew the inning up on us there a little bit.
Coach Farrell, you told your team first time here to have fun no matter what the circumstance, and you certainly have had that this week.
Absolutely. It's been a great experience. The state's done a great job running this. We're getting some great competition right now. We're not done yet. We're going to keep fighting.
I've seen your team. I've seen you coach at St. Ambrose. Your team never quits.
No, we battle. As long as we got them bat left, we're going to keep fighting.
All right, best of luck, Ron.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Ron Farrell in his second year at Assumption. He's coached the last 7 years at St. Ambrose, which is in Davenport. And I asked, why take that high school job? And he says, I want control over my diamond year-round. Hey. And to get an eye on the talent.
Well, sure, and you know, you have to do what you have to do, and the opportunity arose for him, and he took it, and you know, he does have the opportunity to see a lot of great high school talent, go out and maybe use it to his advantage to recruit to his school.
And it's kind of funny because you'll see coaches come and recruit here. You'll see them from all over the country come to recruit talent here at the state tournament. You've seen the likes of the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the smaller schools in the state all getting a look at the talent to see here who they could possibly, who wants to keep playing softball. As the pitch is swung on a miss by J.C. Lyons here in the fourth. It'll be Lyons, Hulsebus, and Stenberg. And actually, Coach Farrell was here last night watching that 5A semifinal game. He wanted to see Pleasant Valley play, his conference foe and good friend Lori Duncan. As Stenberg swings and misses, or Lyons that is, and that's the first strikeout of the inning. So there's one away here. So, you know, the MAC, we haven't had a lot of Quad City area teams playing in the finals in quite a while. Today we have two. Davenport Assumption plays in Class 3A, and Pleasant Valley will play in 5A, which is our next game, Laura. That'll be later this afternoon. Class 4A is coming up next, and that'll feature Carlisle and Oskaloosa with Brad Wells and Kathy Creighton on the call. And Jessica Havlick is now getting a chance to swing the bat here for Hulsebus. Looks at the first pitch, strike. Havlick scored when she was running for Pfizer. And this gives Havlick an opportunity to not just run the bases, but then swing. Havlick is a sophomore, listed as a left fielder. She's batting .263 on the team, or on the season, with 6 RBIs. Bats from the left side. And you might see a few more girls get an opportunity here if Pfizer can remain in control here, and Coach Stenberg getting girls opportunities to play. We'll see.
You certainly want to utilize your bench and get them into a state tournament title game if you can. And so he's got a couple of girls left on the bench that he's going to try to get in there and work them in either as a pinch hitter or a pinch runner, or maybe get them out into the field and play a position.
As Havlick swings and fouls it into the screen in front of the dugout there. And Valinas is still hustling around.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Havlick puts a smile on her face, realizing this is a fun little opportunity right here. I'm batting in the state championship game. Watches that one go out of the zone. That's pretty good plate discipline for not having swung the bat much in the state tournament.
Yeah, and Kelly throws is a different delivery, a little bit off speed, a lot of different spin on her pitches. And so looking at something a little bit different, obviously coming out off the bench, but gets a good bat on it.
Put in play, Yoder throws across to Ackerman, who scoops it out, and Havlick is retired here in the fourth.
Yoder has seen a lot of action here today and really done a great job showing her range and showing her arm at shortstop. Another fantastic play for Yoder.
Anna Stenberg, the junior, now bats. She was hit by pitch and had that, she pops it up out of play. She kind of, Hulsebus was the RBI single, but then Stenberg kept it going in that last at-bat. Benton is 7 of 12 with runners in scoring position in this game. So they have come through in the clutch. And they're 7 of 10 when there's 2 outs. All of that damage last inning came with 2 outs. Changeup is ripped into left field, past a diving Andreessen. And on board again is Anna Stenberg with another base hit.
Ball just kind of hung out over the plate, and Stenberg was able to extend and shoot it by Andreessen, who made a great effort trying to knock it down and keep it in the field of play.
4 for 17 in the DP.
And now we're going to have another change. So the DP.
Flex will now hit for the DP.
The flex is going to hit for the DP. So Bonowitz. McKenna's been playing in left field, and now she's going to get a chance to swing the bat. Now the umpires have on their backs this year walkie-talkies. Used to be they walk over to the trainers area and call up the changes. Now they can use their two-way radio, or they just point.
She's coming in for her.
Yeah, you can see it from there. They're like air traffic control. And those radios will get a lot of use in that 1A final with Akron Westfield. Coach Colt likes to make a lot of changes. That'll be key. And Akron Westfield, the other number 1-2 matchup, and hit by pitch is Bonowitz. Or Bonowitz, sorry. Looks like I got it right. Yeah, right just above that left knee.
Above the knee, but she hustles down to first base and tried to move away.
And now Grace Martinson. Swing and lifted out of play.
Martinson was part of that hit parade that they were able to string together 3, 4, 5 hits. She was right in the middle of that as they scored all of their runs in that third inning.
That pitch is inside as well to Martinson.
Kelly's working it on the inside corner, so you have to see if these Benton hitters will squeeze the plate, try to get right up on that chalk line.
Ball hit towards second, is fielded, and the out is made as Jana Miller fields it and throws over to Ashley Ackerman. So the Bobcats leave a pair, but how did they get to an 8-0 lead? Well, it was an impressive third inning, and it started with a couple of walks, and then it was Shelby Hulsing right here, goes right back in, and that allowed the first run to score, and that just kind of popped off the top like the Iowa atmosphere on a late afternoon thunderstorm. Another hit, that time by Martinson. She ripped it to left. And again, another hit. Martinson would score there on Brunson's double. Weevil scores, who had a hit as well in that. Gorko with a hit. You know, it just was kept on coming. 8-0 is your score, Benton Community. 8-1. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors. And Amber Pfizer comes back out to the circle to play here in the 5th. Her team leading 8-0 here at Fort Dodge. So now Pfizer will face the bottom part of the order, Caitlin Andreessen. And it could be Guy or Wislander to bat, and then Miller are due up for the Bobcats, or for the Knights against the Bobcats.
Andreessen, one of the seniors on this team, gonna continue her softball career at Wayne State in Nebraska. Get an opportunity to get a good education and continue to play softball. That's a good softball school.
So Havlick is in center. There you can see on the far part of your screen, she stays in the game. So after she ran and then pinch hit, she'll now stay in the game. As that pitch is fouled into the screen by Andreessen. The pitch from Pfizer. In there for a called strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See the hitters making adjustments as they see that pitch coming. They're backing off of it, so you can tell that Pfizer really has great movement on her pitches today.
And that's a called 3rd strike. Andreessen looks at one go by. And that's 12 strikeouts.
Well, right on the inside corner and just could not get the bat off the shoulder. That's 6 in a row now for Pfizer, dating back to the 3rd inning, where she struck out the last 2, struck out the side in the 4th, and now struck out the leadoff hitter here in the 5th.
Where in the hell is she at? Hannah Wistlander was in the... Uh-oh. Where was Wistlander at? Gosh, I think 29 for 14.
So Pfizer has talked about 1 pitch at a time. And you can kind of see right there, there's her armband for pitches. But right below that armband, it's written, and I bet you it's almost wiped off because of the sweat. It says 1 pitch at a time. And I asked Amber about that earlier. Said that she just 1 pitch at a time. As Allie Courtney will pinch hit here now. The first pitch from Pfizer is out of the zone. You can't really play the game more than 1 pitch at a time. But some people try to do too much, and it gets them into trouble. So that's always just a good reminder. So even the good players need reminders every once in a while.
Well, you don't want to get too far ahead. You don't want to think too far ahead and start assuming what might happen if I throw this pitch, or what if I do that. Just work it 1 pitch at a time, 1 play at a time.
The 1-1, swung on and missed by Courtney. Allie is a junior. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout. That's 13, and we're approaching what Pfizer did in the quarterfinal game when she had 16 strikeouts to set a 3A tournament record. When she also, oh, by the way, threw a no-hitter.
And then backed it up with 11 strikeouts yesterday.
First pitch to Miller is swung on and fouled into the screen behind home. Pfizer wipes the sweat. Still a little bit of breeze moving here. If we lose that breeze, I think we're going to feel it, but the sun is out in full force today. And Miller looks at a strike.
Lions did a great job of bringing that pitch in, framing it. Caught the outside corner, but great hands behind the plate.
The 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3.
That is 8 in a row now for Pfizer as far as strikeouts.
The last one to reach base was Hannah Kelly back in the 3rd when she had a single, and that was the only hit of the game. So Pfizer has only allowed 2 hits in this entire tournament, 5 in the entire postseason. She gave up a hit against New Hampton, and then she had somewhere in the neighborhood of 27 hitless innings that she had thrown before yesterday late in that ball game against Boynton Hall, Rock Valley. Now the tournament is under new management now, as there has been a change in leadership, and we will discuss Jean Berger with Jean Berger in a little bit. She takes over for Mike Dick. Mike is still the She is taking over for Mike Dick. Mike is still in a consultant role for another about a month. And then he is ready to retire, is what he told me earlier this week. And Jean is in charge, and we'll hear from her a little bit later on in the day. Looking forward to that interview. It is hard not to catch the energy when Jean Berger talks.
The union is going to be in great hands with Jean Berger. Had the opportunity to work with Jean when she was in position at Drake, an athletic director at Drake, senior women's advisor there, and So know Jean very well and know what she can do for this union and move it forward. And so it's in great hands.
As Tony Nelson gets the subs worked out, he puts the mask on. We're ready to play some softball here in the 5th. So if the Bobcats can score 2, which will be a tall task against the good pitching Hannah Kelly. First pitch in there for a strike. Three runs back in the 3rd.
She's going to continue her career at Kirkwood. And be a doctor. She said she likes skin. She wants to be a dermatologist, and so something that she wants to pursue. And that's not something every day you hear somebody go, I like skin. I want to be a dermatologist. So that's her dream. That's what she wants to do. She's going to start out studying biology and work her way to med school.
She lifts it in the area behind third base. Yoder ranges over to make the catch. And Brunson is retired. You know, we've got a couple of gals that want to be doctors that are playing today. Weeble, who's at the bat now, who's headed to Illinois State.
And you asked her, what do you want to major in? And she said molecular and cellular biology.
Pre-med.
And wants to be a surgeon,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. She's cut up a lot of defenses with her bat, so she figures why not do it with a knife as a surgeon? You got good hands when you can play softball, so, you know, that's the abilities of a surgeon. I said, so I guess you got a little bit of a role model with a doctor as a coach, so maybe you can still coach. Because, yeah, I guess that is a good role model, isn't it?
She said he's kind of set the standard for him because he is doing both as an ER doctor, Coach Stenberg, as well as coaching. And he's coached his son's youth baseball team and then moved over and started coaching in the softball ranks. And this position opened up, and he had the opportunity to take it and has had a lot of success with that. So has worked his way up, youth baseball, youth softball, and then into the high school ranks.
Statistical leader offensively. She's also the strikes there. Also in charge of picking, one of the ones picking the movies. This team likes to watch horror films. Scary ones. I go, what movie do you watch? Well, whatever one we haven't seen. Everybody like that, you asked? And I said, you know, Amber's not such a big fan, but we watch it anyway.
Yeah, that was kind of, we asked what worked for them all season, and they're a close-knit group, and they said that they would have team bonding meals at somebody's house, and then they'd get on Netflix, watch a scary movie, and that would be their fire up for the game.
Gorko rips it to third, but Andreessen scoops it up, throws across the diamond, and gets the Knights out of the inning. Nice play there. All right, let's go over to Mark Amadeo, who is with Gene Berger.
I'm with the executive director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, her first year, and it's Gene Berger. Gene, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
I know Paul interviewed you during basketball season, but you weren't on board officially then, but you are now.
I have been since the 5th of July, so, 15 days.
Yeah, and you got through state soccer, and we've already canceled a day in state softball. Talk about that.
Well, there's nothing like canceling a whole day of softball the first 2 weeks in the job, but I was getting kidded because of all the water. They called it my baptism into the state softball tournament, so I guess. But it was the right thing to do. I think the outfields weren't safe, and I wanted the kids so much to have a championship facility, and we needed the time just to let it drain, so it worked out.
The rescheduling was done by people in your staff, and I think Craig Snyder and Mike Stanley, and even Mike Dick, he's the consultant now. He even helped out with the reschedule of games yesterday and on Wednesday.
Yeah, and you're always better collectively, and I learned a long time ago to give it to the people who are the experts, so that's what I did. Relied heavily on their advice, but it worked out really well. We got those consolations in.
Gene, first few months on the job, talk about what the goal is for the girls' union right now.
You know, I'm a big advocate. Spent most of my career advocating for participation by young women in sports, and I'm really going to get back to the Iowa girl. What's important, not necessarily competition, but what young people learn through athletics, especially young girls, and how important it is for their future life, especially in the schools.
Thanks for giving us some time this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, Paul and Laura, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And now we can continue action here at the state softball tournament. You know, Jean had a conversation with her Wednesday here in Fort Dodge, and the ideas that she has for the exposure and telling stories, go to places that you don't know. You know, like with our coverage, you know, we're able to listen in on coaches and hear those huddles. I just love that part of our coverage. She wants to go even further. She's like, that's just good, that's fine. She goes, that's the bar. We want to go way above that, you know. Don't be surprised to see videos riding along with teams on their buses, or maybe a little bit more of what they do between games, and kind of that exclusive all-access pass. So I think that's something that she wants to continue to do and feature who the Iowa girl is, as the strikeout of Hannah Kelly is the 15th of the game for Amber Pfizer as we open up here in the 6th inning. And, you know, Ewayne Cooley was the one who opened the door for the Iowa girl and really started all this, and, you know, the separate organizations and the allowance of focusing on the players and the girl, and from wherever she is. Pfizer fields it, throws it across, and Pfizer again involved in a play. She has touched the ball for every out. She has struck out 15, and she's had a 1-3, a pitcher to first baseman back with Andreessen, and now with Van Severen. So Pfizer has been involved in every out of this game.
Well, she does a great job after letting go of the pitch to be in good fielding position, and fields her position very well.
Pfizer throws it again inside to Ashley Ackerman, and that is called a strike. Ackerman, the game-winning home run yesterday, looking for a little magic today. She's headed to UNI, but she is done with softball, so this is her final softball game, and it comes in the state championship game. She fouls one out of play. She's going to study bio, and another one who wants to be a doctor. I love it.
All these young ladies are good students. They have big dreams. They know what they want to do, and they're going to go pursue those in at very good schools.
Swing and a miss. So with that strikeout, Amber Pfizer has now tied her own record that she set just 2 days ago. 16 strikeouts, ties a Class 3A state championship performance from pitching. Pfizer's dealing.
She really is. That's what she's done all season long. We talked about her numbers right at the beginning of the ball game. Her ERA that was the best in the entire state of all classes, not just 3A, and her strikeouts, her number of strikeouts that she had coming into the tournament, and how she's just upped that total since being here in 3 games at the tournament. So she is certainly a tough pitcher to try to gauge and try to hit, and even try to gain any kind of momentum against, to try to string hits together.
Getting to Fort Dodge, you have to have good pitching, but I don't think there is a better pitcher in the tournament field this year than Amber Pfizer. There's some that can really deal, and we'll see some good ones later, but to give up 2 hits in 2 games, or in 3 games, is an incredible performance.
Yeah, she's certainly impressive, and I just it's no effort for her out there in the circle either. It's just very comfortable for her. She's got a great rhythm and great fundamentals, and she is going to have a huge career in college.
Look at that 8 back in the 3rd, Laura. This game was all zeros except for that lone inning when the Bobcats plated 8 runs. They batted around, and they did it all with 2 outs. Just that game just changed in a moment. Pfizer for the state tournament, she's given up 2 hits and struck out 43. 1 run, and she gave up a home run in the regional final on the first batter at New Hampton, and then she didn't allow a hit until yesterday in the semifinal. As that one is ripped to left center by Pfizer, she can also do it with, they're going for 2, She is in there with a double. Amber Pfizer doing it with the bat as well.
Ball stayed up in the zone, and she was able to get the hands through it and drive it. Rounded the corner at first, standing at second, gonna get the courtesy runner.
So now, if you are, well, as we see a courtesy runner coming in, Megan Gorko comes in. And they'll send Pfizer into the dugout. Maybe she bats again, maybe she doesn't. The Bobcats need 2 to end this. They would win by the 10-run rule, as they have 8 right now. Benton is the home team. So if the Bobcats can push 2, if not, Pfizer comes back out and gets a chance to break or set a new state tournament record for strikeouts in a game.
And Macy Schmidt's going to come in and pinch hit for J.C. Lyons. Get her opportunity at the plate.
Macy is a sophomore. She hits it a mile high between left, center, and short. It's going to be caught by the left fielder, Shannon Timmons. Strike that. That was not Timmons. That was Hannah Wislander who made that catch. It was a 24. Now it's a 29 out there. So there's one away here in the 6th. Swung on and missed by Jessie Havlick, getting a chance to bat again here as she has entered the game. The pitch on the way from Hannah Kelly. Bunted foul. Tony Nelson been busy today behind the home plate. As Jessie Havlick, there you see, she's 0 for 1, ground out. She also scored a run. She was the first run of the game to score. Right now, her run's the only one that really all Benton needed. Next pitch is bounced in there on purpose. They were thinking Havlick was going to slap at it. Probably right.
What a great job, though, by Valinas to be able to block it and keep it in front. That ball had a lot of spin. That could have gone one way or another, but she kept it right in front.
Ball goes out of the zone. Havlick was halfway to the pitcher's mound when that ball was finally called. You can still hit it as long as you have one foot in the box and the other foot hasn't touched out of that box. But there's no front line to help differentiate that. There's a little bit of room for interpretation by the home plate umpire. And that's a foul ball.
And I think that would be one of the toughest calls for the home plate umpire, to be able to focus on the pitch coming in, where the batter is, where their feet are.
Fair all the way. Havlick gets it down. And it was fielded by Valinas. She made a great effort. And now Gorko is at third.
Okay, there.
And now the Knights have their own circle of 2 outs.
I think Valinas is hurt. I think she called the timeout. She's flexing that knee.
One at a time here, Coach.
And I think she's the one that called the huddle because she needed a little extra time, but
10 for 8. Benton, 10 for 8 batting.
I'll tell you about it. She'll stay in.
Okay.
So I think Samantha Raby is going to get a chance to swing the bat. She scored a run. She scored the second run of the game when she was running for J.C. Lyons back in that determining 3rd inning. Pretty calm demeanor from Coach Stenberg. He says there's a lot of parallels between being a doctor and a coach. You've got to communicate. You've got to remain calm. You've got to have good people skills. You don't see him get too excited. There was a little, I think yesterday in that semifinal game, there was a little tension. I think he had a little bit of emotion. There was a great story done by the Cedar Rapids Gazette Stephen Malley did some video work where he followed Doc on a shift at the hospital, and you get to see his people skills as a doctor. I mean, Laura, you deal with doctors. You know that some have good people skills and some could use some improvement.
It's an interesting mix of what you see, and you know, but all of them are all very good doctors. They just all have different personalities.
It's going to be some defensive changes. Seniors are going to get a chance to exit the ball game. Class move there. It's kind of like in basketball when it's about 5 seconds left and you take out the players so that they can get, because the end of the game is one set of cheering, but at that opportunity your home fans get a chance to cheer, and you don't see that very often because a game's usually a little closer than this. You need everybody, but here with 2 outs and a pinch hitter, and it was an opportunity to get Ashley Ackerman some applause. And Jana Miller and Caitlin Andreessen.
And nice. They've worked hard their entire career and got to the pinnacle, got to the state championship game, just could not make it happen for their school, but what a great move to get them some recognition for all the hard work they've done for their school.
Popped up right side, and the catch is made by Sophie Van Severen. And the Bobcats are 3 outs away from a state title. Let's see Amber Pfizer as she goes out into the circle here. She has had an impressive day of pitching, Laura. 16 strikeouts. Let's look at some of them.
Well, she certainly has had a good day, hitting corners, working the zone, throwing the rise ball, working it right down the middle, working inside and outside. And these hitters just really didn't have a chance to even try to get into a rhythm against her because she's kept them off balance all day long. And Coach Stenberg, as he comes out of that third base coaching box, and Pfizer got to the circle, they had a nice little moment as well. He gave her a big hug before he went to the dugout.
And Pfizer knows this is it right here. Final 3. Her softball career will continue. And Coach Stenberg knows this is a very special team. And they've embraced that, and they've used that motivation as a runner-up last year. The season, they were first all year long, only dropped 2 games, one to Waverly Shell Rock and the other to Indianola. The Go Hawks were a game away from state. Indianola did play here at state in Class 5A. Valinas looks at the first pitch, strike. Valinas, Salmon, and Yoder due up for the Knights. And Valinas, you know, will be a key part of this Assumption team next year.
Oh. Yeah, they're going to be back. They've got some very good young players. They've got a nice makeup in their lineup, and they certainly will be able to fill in the gaps with the younger players coming up. So I expect them to have another solid season next year.
Umpire says Valinas went around, and now
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1-2.
It's a 1-2 pitch coming into Valinas here. 8 home runs on the season coming into the tournament. Now 9, swings and misses, and that's number 17, a new state record for strikeouts. Amber Pfizer sets the Class 3A state tournament record right there with the strikeout of Valinas.
My last time you had to deal with me today because I'm out. Number 10, going into the game for 34 to hit.
Lions set up in, and that ball just, that rise ball.
Yeah, it's just moving. She's got it working.
We're gonna have one more move here. It's gonna be Hannah Johnson is gonna pinch hit. Hannah Johnson, a junior, come in from the left side. Other than that hit back in the third, Pfizer has been perfect. Had a walk back in the first, hit there in the third. Benton Community has made it. This is their 15th state tournament appearance.
2 strikes.
On this, the 22nd of July, 2016. They're closing in on a championship.
Ball.
And that one misses on Johnson.
Tough position for Johnson to come in, sitting on the bench, and then having to step up at the plate, try to keep the game alive, try to get some kind of a rally going against a pitcher who's got the hot hand.
Another strikeout. And it's down to Nicole Yoder, the freshman.
Again, just keeps setting records with these strikeouts that she's throwing here in these last few innings. Again, goes to that go-to pitch, up in the eyes, and Johnson could not catch up to it.
Swing and miss by Yoder as the Benton fans have come to their feet. Just after noon on Friday. First game of the day. The pitch from Pfizer. Swung on and missed, and the Knights are down to their last strike.
Got some fans out in center field in the bleachers, and they're feeling it, cheering their team on.
There you see they are jumping up and down. What's Pfizer got here?
I'm going rise ball.
The 0-2. Strike 3! And that's a state title for Benton Community. The Bobcats roar and slay the Knights. 8-0. Amber Pfizer, 19 strikeouts, and a state championship.
That is certainly a performance by Amber Pfizer, one that will go down in the books for a long time. Records the strikeout to win the title. Gloves go up in the air and everybody celebrates. Big, big win for Benton.
Well, if I had to guess, I didn't vote in the all-tournament team, Laura. I think Pfizer's got to probably be your all-tournament captain. I don't see how it's not. But there's a lot of good players. I think we'll see a couple of Assumption Knights here on this one as we, especially those performances yesterday, Ackerman and Valinas, if I had to wage a guess, but I'll stop guessing and just say Benton was just impressive today, all aspects of the game. That third inning, they just started hitting the cover off the ball. And as you said, hitting is contagious.
And that's all it takes in a game like this where it is win or go home. It's the championship. All you need is just a little break, and they got the break. They got the walks, and then they started stringing some hits together, and then everybody caught fire, and they had that huge inning, and then rode the arm of Amber Pfizer.
Pfizer was just nails all season. I mean, we talked about it in the open, Laura. Her ERA, 0.30. The team, 0.37. Every pitcher for Benton that threw this year had a no-hitter. She had 13 just this season, 13 no-hitters in an extremely tough conference.
Well, you can see the stuff she has, and that's why she is so tough. It's because she's got a lot of movement on that ball.
Let's find out who's on that all-tournament team. It's time for trophy presentations.
The all-tournament team, JC Lions of Benton Community. Sophie Van Severen, Davenport Assumption. Shelby Holsabus of Benton Community. Caitlin Vanderswag, Boyden Hole, Rock Valley. Bryn Hanrahan, Solon. Sydney Lawson, Solon. Paige Jurgens, Collins, Maxwell, Baxter. Nicole Timmons, Davenport Assumption. Alyssa Weeble, Benton Community. Emma Valinas, Davenport Assumption. And the captain of the 2016 Class 3A All-Tournament team, Amber Pfizer, Benton Community.
There's a reason she's on the state as the captain of that team. Incredible performance, 19 strikeouts, a Class 3A state tournament record for Amber Pfizer. And there's a look at the squad. A lot of good softball players on that team. I think any coach should start with that squad.
I think you and I could win with that squad. That's a pretty good lineup right there. And you're right, Amber Pfizer, the captain of the all-tournament team, with her performance here and even her performance leading up to the state tournament in through district and regional play.
The Bobcats go home with the hardware this year. They were runner-up. There's Coach Stenberg, and they win the title. And you know that they have been thinking about this for about 364 days.
Every participating player will receive a commemorative softball provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, the title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards are members of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Board of Directors, Deanne Kramer, Roger Francis, George Tracy, and Greg Ebling. Congratulations to the runner-up in Class 3A, Head Coach Farrell and the Davenport Assumption Knights on an outstanding 2016 softball season. And your 2016 Class 3A state softball champions, head coach Eric Stenberg and the Bobcats from Benton Community High School.
Cinderella no more. The Bobcats are the champions. They proved it all season long. A no-hitter, a one-hitter, and a one-hitter. Pitching wins championships. Defense doesn't hurt. The Bobcats are champions, Laura.
They are. They returned everyone from last year's runner-up team. They got beat by Solon a year ago. They wanted to get back to this title game and win it all, and that they have done in impressive fashion.
We're just getting started. This is 1 of 5. This one was a great performance in one inning. We'll see if we have good innings like that and good softball the rest of the day, and I think we do. It started easy for Amber Pfizer, 1-2 there. And then it was a parade of hits, good defense early on. But in the end, it was just too much Benton Community. The Bobcats are state champions. The next game, Oskaloosa and Carlisle, coming your way in just a few minutes. So long from Fort Dodge for just a while. Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Softball Championships is provided by...
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Trumu, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the 2016 Iowa Girls High School Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Soccer Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live.
By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.